We're starting a new series, CMO for the Day, and today is Pickleball. Any good CMO starts with what are the goals and what should we focus on? Kieran, what do you think the core goals should be if you're the CMO of Major League Pickleball?
Okay, I have 3.
Yes, let's go.
I have established the brand for Pickleball, and so I have this really cool idea I want to riff with you on, and then I can get into the other 2. So I was trying to think of this late last night, right? So why is Pickleball taken off so well? You actually mentioned it. It's because it has such a wide age demographic, like 5 to 90. And so I had this like cool idea of the brand strapline being something like never lose your competitive spirit. And it's kind of like
I like that.
In some ways, it's the antithesis or the opposite of Red Bull, right? So Red Bull is extreme sports for like very extreme athletes. This is kind of the extreme sport for everyone else who's not an extreme athlete, but still has that competitive spirit. And so it's like the Red Bull for everyone else. And I think there's a way you can lean in like ordinary people doing incredible things through these kind of sports. So I think, how do I establish that for a brand? How do I create some sort of marquee event? So like one of the interesting things, if you go all the way back to tennis, Pickleball has about 25% of the users or players that tennis has. One of the big kind of driver, I could get into some of the others when I go into my ideas, but one of the big drivers of growth for tennis was actually Wimbledon, because Wimbledon helped people like really, it created a sense of like wonderment. People really loved that tournament. And so I think really having a marquee tournament that you can kind of showcase Pickleball. And then to me, it's just, how do I make it really accessible so I can widen the amount of players playing it and really widen the scope of players playing it. And I have ideas for that. So like establish a brand, like never lose your competitive spirit, have a marquee event. I know there's like a real push to get Pickleball at the Olympics. And then how do I actually just make it, democratize it even further, make sure that everyone and everywhere can actually play Pickleball and just increase the number of users doing that.
Wow, this situation has a bunch of really interesting unfair advantages. One, it has no baggage. It doesn't have an old traditional way of doing things like tennis, golf, other similar sports have, right? And wow, that is a big unfair advantage. Another unfair advantage Pickleball has is it has really low revenues. So it can actually be really differentiated in how it makes money and how it uses its sport and license its sport to not just make money, but build a great brand in the way that Kieran was talking about. And I think those are 2 like really amazing unfair advantages that they have in this situation. They're kind of unique to Pickleball, and really why I wanted to have this conversation, because it allows you to do things very, very differently than other kind of historical professional sports teams.
Right. I do think the fact that their age demographic is so broad, like most sports are harder to do. Like I've started to try to play tennis again, and you know, it's just harder to do at a certain age.
Are you saying you're old?
I think that I'm, I think tennis is definitely a hard sport on your body. Like you feel it the next day. The other thing that Pickleball is mostly played by doubles. It's mostly a 2-on-2 game. So it actually, if you think about single player mode, we think about this from the lens of like how to build a business. Like it's always better to have multiplayer mode versus single player mode. They have like multiplayer mode, right? Because they have this more people who can play the game with other people. And so I think there's like some incredible things in terms of how the game is played that will help them grow it much more rapidly.
If you look at the most successful sports leagues out there, Champion League Soccer, NBA, NFL, they have maximized the days of the year that sport is relevant, right? Where it's like, oh, instead of being a 4-month season and then it's kind of irrelevant the rest of the year, it's like, oh, well, it's kind of relevant 9 out of every 12 months or whatever. I think the first principle for Pickleball here is we have to make Pickleball relevant 365 days a year. It has to be relevant to its audience all of the time.